When I first heard about herbal actions, I thought it was some kind of secret wizard code. Like, what do you mean herbs have actions? But here's the deal. Herbal actions just mean what the herb actually does in your body. And once you learn them, suddenly you're not just memorizing herbs, you're actually able to match the right herb to the right situation. If you're new here, hi, I'm Say. I'm the herbalist behind Blue Radical Apothecary, and today we're going to talk about herbal action. We'll go through some real life examples, and I'll show you how you can start using herbal actions today. I'm excited that you're here, so let's jump into it. Side note, I live on an island, so there are birds everywhere. If you hear birds in the background, they're either my own or the ones outside, so I apologize in advance, but such is island life. So that's that. Let's get into our herbal studies now. What the heck are herbal actions anyway? Let's keep it simple. An herbal action describes the effect an herb has on the body. Think of it like a job title. Is this herb a relaxer, a stimulator, a soother, or a mover? For example, peppermint's action is a carminative, which means it helps relieve gas and bloating. Chamomile's action is a nervine, which means it supports the nervous system, calming stress. Yarrow's action is a styptic, which means it helps stop bleeding. It's way less intimidating when you translate it into real life terms. Here's the magic. When you understand herbal actions, you stop Googling what herb is good for headaches and start thinking like an herbalist. Because headaches can come from 50 different reasons, right? Stress, tension, poor digestion, heat, cold, or dehydration. The action tells you which herb matches your situation. An example of this is if you have a tension headache, you're going to want to look for a nervine relaxant like skullcap. If you have a digestive headache, go with a carminative like fennel or peppermint. Now, there are tons of herbal actions out there, but let's be real, you don't need to memorize them all right now. Here are a few basics that will instantly level up your herbal game. Carminatives, they soothe digestion and they relieve gas. Examples of these are peppermint, ginger, and fennel. Using this in real life is like having a carminative after a heavy meal, so drink peppermint tea to ease bloating. A nervine supports the nervous system. An example of this is chamomile, lemon balm, or skullcap. Real life use, swap your doom scrolling for a cup of lemon balm before bed. Diaphoretics promote sweating to help break fevers. An example of this is elderflower, yarrow, or ginger. Real life use, when you're feeling feverish, a hot cup of yarrow tea can help your body release heat naturally. An expectorant helps loosen and move mucus. Example herbs are mullein, thyme, and elecampane. Real life use, when you've got that sticky cough, mullein tea helps clear the lungs. An astringent tightens and tones tissues. Example herbs are yarrow, raspberry leaf, and witch hazel. Real life use, raspberry leaf tea helps tone uterine muscles. Yarrow helps stop minor cuts from bleeding. Quick side note about actions versus effects, because this sometimes trips people up because there is a difference between an action and an effect. The action is equal to what the herb does in the body, and the effect is equal to how you actually experience it. An example of this is peppermint's action is a carminative, but its effect is that your bloating goes down, your stomach feels lighter, and you're not walking around regretting that burrito. Another one is chamomile's action is a nervine, but its effect is that you actually feel calmer, maybe you fall asleep faster, or maybe you stop grinding your teeth at night. So actions are the herbalist language, effects are your lived results. Both matter, but understanding actions help you predict which herbs will give you the effect you want. I share way more information about this in detail in the Blue Botanical portal too. Here's how you can use herbal actions in your everyday life. Let's take this out of theory and into your kitchen cupboard. Here's how you would implement herbal actions step by step. First, you want to identify your need. Are you stressed, bloated, feverish, or congested? Second, match it to an action, nervine, carminative, diaphoretic, etc. Then choose an herb you actually like and have access to. So another example of this is if you're feeling anxious before bed, instead of just reaching for a random tea, you remember, I need a nervine. Boom, chamomile, lemon balm. Second example, heavy greasy dinner sits like a rock. You remember, I need a carminative, peppermint tea to the rescue. Third example of this is your kid gets a nosebleed. You remember, I need a styptic. Yarrow leaf applied topically can help stop the bleeding. Suddenly, you're not guessing your herbs, you're matching. When you use herbal actions in your everyday life, here's what changes. You build real confidence in choosing herbs. You stop relying on Google lists like top 10 herbs for everything. And you see faster, more specific results because you're using herbs intentionally and not just guessing. There you have it, Herbal Actions 101. They're not scary, they're just how we describe what herbs do. When you start paying attention to the actions, you realize that your herbal toolkit becomes more personal and more powerful. Have you seen this video on how to blend your own herbal tea? If not, click on it and I'll see you there. Bye!